Hey guys, welcome to the Lean to the Left podcast. As always on the Dixie Dems, we're talking politics. And with me today are Arthur Hill from North Carolina and Robert Thompson from Georgia, my two go-to pals on the Dixie Dems. I'm a Marylander transplanted into South Carolina. Arthur is the vice chair of the Brunswick County, North Carolina Democratic Party, and Robert's a Georgia native activist now in Atlanta and has watched his state turn from battleground purple over the past several election cycles. I live in Myrtle Beach and spend my time hosting this podcast and producing the Lean to the Left blog site. Now, this has been a historic couple of weeks with President Biden deciding to step aside and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris as his successor. And that's what we'll be focusing on mostly today. You guys, what do you think about what's happened generally, and what does Harris need to do to defeat Trump? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, Kamala just needs to keep doing what she's doing now. Old white men Republicans cannot stand a strong black woman, and this is their worst nightmare. I have seen so much excitement since the announcement this week. I haven't seen anything similar to it back since the Obama candidacy, both times around. And hey, game on. What are you going to come to the table with, Republicans?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a couple of things. In my still red county, the enthusiasm as measured by people who called us up and wanted to volunteer has been unprecedented in the time that I've been involved with county politics. It's really exciting to see such a turnout and to see so much enthusiasm that has taken place since Saturday, since the Saturday that Biden announced he was withdrawing from the campaign. The other thing is what I think excites most people is that they believe that the Democratic Party has found somebody who finally has the moxie to really take on Trump. And she is a prosecutor that the United States Supreme Court will never be able to replace. She'll be there as long as she's effective and as long as she can take on and defeat Trump.
Yeah, she's something else. And I'm really happy that Biden finally decided to do that. It was the right decision for him to make, and I know it was hard for him. The guy's given everything that he's had over the past 50 years. And I feel like he did a hell of a job in his time as president. He started out saying that he wanted to bring the country together and heal the country. And he's been focusing on doing that. He's not been getting any credit. Everything that he's done, every single step that he's taken, the Republicans have just put up roadblocks and criticized him over and over again. And I just think that as far as I can see, he made the right call. I just don't think that he's got the physical capabilities any longer to do that for the next 4 years. I was hoping that he would make this decision. Now that he's done it, the excitement is taking place. It's all over social media. My goodness, the amount of money that's been raised in just a couple of days is incredible. Here in the Myrtle Beach area of South Carolina, I can see also enthusiasm, especially on the Democratic side. The Facebook posts and other social media posts are really hopeful. And so I think the Democrats now are on a good path. I think that also Trump is doing everything he can to leverage the fact that he got his ear nicked at that rally in Pennsylvania, which, by the way, Butler, Pennsylvania, is where my grandparents lived. And I consider to be my hometown. So I know that area pretty well. I even know that venue where that took place. So that was an incredible thing. And the other day I saw a post.
Some ironies.
Yeah, I saw a post from
some ironies.
I saw a post from Trump that said that he took a bullet for this country. He didn't take a bullet. He got his freaking ear nicked. There's even some question of whether it was actually the bullet or a piece of glass from the teleprompter.
It would have been more appropriate if he said he'd taken a bone spur for his country.
What an asshole. I just have to say that.
The two ironies here. I had to tune to Fox News. Just always go over there every now and then just to see what they're bitching about today. And guess who the first advertiser on Fox News was?
Who?
Calax, stool softener. Bless your heart if you're having to watch Fox News and you're constipated. Over to a little more serious with this shooting. He used an AR-15. Why in America are we still allowing AR-15s to be sold and possessed?
Oh, that's for sure. That is for sure.
The
Absolutely.
AR-15 was designed to kill human beings, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's what its original intent was, and that's why they sold them all to the Army. And it has no business being in the civilian sector. Absolutely no business at all.
None. And amazing to me that there's not more of a uproar over the fact that that gun was available and that kid used an AR-15 to take a shot at Trump. And what do you think about the conspiracy theories that maybe the Republicans or the Trumpers cooked up this whole thing in order to get sympathy for their guy?
If it is a story they have to tell to prevent having to take Dulcolax and a stool softener, be my guest. I bless your hearts.
I don't know. I don't know. They might have gotten a little bit of traction at first, but all that stuff got knocked out of the water when Biden made his announcement. And
Yeah, for sure.
I think if I'm Trump, I'm royally pissed off about Biden's timing on this thing because there goes his post-convention jump and everything else, and he actually retreated to a corner for a couple of days while the Biden-Harris phenomenon rolled forward. I thought that was interesting.
Well, more than interesting, I think it's entirely possible that Biden, cagey as he is, planned the timing of it in order for that to happen.
And not only that, I'm pretty sure he probably also said to a lot of key policymakers, key Democrats, if you tell me you're going to support Harris if I withdraw from the campaign, then I will withdraw from the campaign. So he probably had a lot of it locked up even before he made the announcement. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't underestimate Dark Brandon. So.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of Dark Brandon, what do you think about the fact that now all these people have spent all this money on all this let's go Brandon crap? That stuff is now worthless. There's a guy.
But they really believe it because they live in their own parallel universe to all this going on. Folks, that if you go all in with this and you have a Trump bumper sticker, or if you've got a Let's Go Brandon bumper sticker, and they're permanent bumper stickers, you put them on your car. So it actually would damage your vehicle that probably looks like a piece of shit anyway if you were to take it off. So do you just...
There's a guy in my neighborhood who's got a big black pickup truck. It's pretty new. It's a nice truck. It's a big one. And he's got Let's Go Brandon wrap all around this truck. And he rides around with Trump flag and I think 3 American flags flying from the bed of his truck or the thing behind the bed. And
so you guys are dads. I'm going to ask another question another way I've asked before. So you guys are dads, and if you had a daughter, would you let your daughter go out with a guy like that?
You kidding me? Oh man, hell no. But anyway, now this guy, he spent, I don't know, it had to cost him thousands of dollars to have all those wraps put on that truck and all that. And I have no idea how much of that is permanent, but these people that have spent all that money on that Let's Go Brandon stuff, they must be really pissed.
I got to tell you,
there's Dulcolax for that. So.
Okay.
I might share their pain a little bit because we bought 1,000 Biden-Harris signs.
Oh, did you?
I don't know what we're going to do with them now.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot easier to just cover them up with a sticker for the VP.
I guess we'll have to do that or some kind of.
Yeah.
We'll have to do something. Either that or sell them as novelties.
Yeah, could
and
be.
Actually, here's another idea that I haven't pulled out in a while.
We're too poor to vote Republican.
Imagine this going over a Republican sign that happens to be just sitting in the right of way.
There you go. That's pretty funny.
Is that on your merch page?
We can pull it out again. I have all the art, and they're easy to print. Imagine those Republican yard signs just sitting around, just plastering one of these on top of them.
I'd love to have that bumper sticker, man. That's cool.
Me too. I'd take that one in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
Yeah, I might even put that on my new EV.
Yeah.
The best yard sign I've seen is all it is. It's a shock of orange hair that flows back, and underneath it says "Nope." That's it.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Republican convention. What do you guys think about that?
I was doing my hair and drinking and not
You were
watching it
doing your
because
hair?
yeah,
You're
I,
doing your hair, really?
you
What'd you
know,
do to your hair, man?
I
Gruesome.
just brushed it.
You got
It,
some there to brush,
yeah,
do you?
there's a little bit left, yeah. But
It has a very fine tooth comb.
Yeah, like the one
can
I
you
have to use.
imagine just yeah, and also the blood pressure medication that would be necessary to make it through that hot mess.
I, to be honest, I didn't watch it.
I
Yeah.
didn't watch it either, except for the last day. I watched Trump's hour and a half long speech. I watched it for about an hour, and then I said to Jackie, "There's no way I can watch the rest of this
Uh,
crap."
yeah, a friend of mine said he almost fell asleep, and apparently,
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of people
Trump
at
was
the
falling asleep
convention
again,
fell
right?
asleep. I heard that a bunch of people were just walking out finally because they got sick of it. It was horrible. And that wrestler guy, what's his name?
Hogan.
Oh, Hulk
Hulk
Hogan.
Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He he probably gave the best speech of the night.
But we had to wake him up somehow. So
Well,
Yeah,
he's really brilliant, Hulk Hogan. He's one of the more brilliant people I've ever seen on a political stage. Jeez, oh flip. That's the best the Republicans can do.
that's
yeah,
it.
it
That's
really
Oh
anybody.
is.
man.
I mean,
I've been reading that they're really pissed off because they thought they had this thing in the bag, and now with Kamala coming out there and swinging for the fences, man, it's not going to be any romp in the woods for Trump. That's for
Nope,
sure.
nope. It
That's
sure
for
is.
sure. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. I guess in about another week we'll see another round of polls. So
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what's happened with the population in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure if the race isn't, if she's not ahead, it'll be definitely be tighter.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
has to be, has to
Yeah.
be with everything that's going on. And
Yeah.
the thing is, there are more registered Democrats in the United States of America than there are Republicans.
Uh-huh.
And so the name of the game is getting out the vote and making sure that everybody who's registered as a Democrat and who's going to vote for Harris shows up, because if that happens, then she'll win. It's all going to depend on the percentages.
If you've been watching Twitter at all, I've been watching it very closely for the last several days. And the enthusiasm that's shown on Twitter on the part of women and minorities
Mhm.
is incredible.
Mhm.
And I really do believe that it's those two groups that will put the Democrats over the top. We just have to make sure that, as you say, the vote is turned out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because when you just think about what they're trying to do with reproductive rights, who would ever have thought in this day and age that politicians would be seriously talking about banning or regulating contraception? I'm not talking about abortion. I'm talking about contraception. That's
Well,
just freaking incredible to me.
with any luck at all, it won't happen.
Yeah.
We'll never get to that
well,
point.
so the
Yeah.
and JD Vance hit on this week, if I'm not mistaken. Part of this evil behind the curtain story is they're trying to claim that they need more working people in
Yeah.
the U.S.
Yeah.
to help all of the aging population continue pensions and Social Security and Medicare.
Yeah.
It all comes down to money that you're just
Yeah.
and these are not sustainable numbers either.
Yeah.
So you have other countries that, and I'm not saying that the U.S. needs to have a limited child or whatever, like they have over in China and so forth, but it's not sustainable to just bludgeon and have literally people everywhere. But good luck, Republicans.
Yeah.
You seem to think you got a giant 2025 project here to make it happen. So
Since you brought
yeah,
up
be my
JD
guest.
Vance, what do you think of him? Do you think that Trump made a mistake in picking him? Because I think that the idea was that, he'd throw out the red meat and solidify the base, but that's already there. That base doesn't need to be solidified. What they need is to expand their base, and he's not going to expand their base, not him at all.
No.
Mm.
And
Mm.
the memes, the comments about JD Vance, he puts sugar in his grits, he throws out his bacon grease, and he has pissed off every Catwoman in the U.S.
Yes.
I
You ought
mean,
to see what's going on Twitter about that. It's hysterical.
yeah.
So,
How
so
does this help your case any?
Yeah.
on the one hand, they want to increase the birth rate, and on the other hand, they don't think that childless couples have any place in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, it's
And
pretty
then they got Project 2025 that says that what we need in this country is to go back to the 1950s, where we had the man was the breadwinner and the woman stayed home and took care of the kids and cleaned the house. And that's what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying in Project 2025, which is a really dangerous document. Have you guys paid any attention to it?
Yes, I have. I want to. Here's a shameless plug for your blog, and I'm really glad you're doing that series on it.
Thank you very much.
I'm-
Just put another one out today, which is on education. And
Mhm.
I've got another one coming up on Social Security, and we're just going to keep going. I've got two really good writers, Susan Hutchinson and Chris Waldron, and they're doing these, and I might chime in with one or two, but basically they're doing them. And I just did a video and posted it today, calling attention to it. So doing everything I can to get exposure for it. We just have to keep talking about Project
Well, you know what
2025.
Trump said about Project 2025, right?
Yeah, what did he say?
I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it.
Oh yeah. He claimed he didn't know anything about it, and which is bullshit because the Republican platform, which he has embraced, is all about what's in Project 2025, and it's almost word for word in some of those areas. So that's
Well,
just
you know, guys, does he remember? Does he recall? Because he's getting old.
yeah. There's another thing. The Republicans were saying we need younger blood. Biden's too old. Hell, Trump is only what 3 years younger than Biden, and he dodders around too. And come on, give me a break. And he's so out of shape. And oh man, Robert, you've been saying for a long time that you think he'll die before he got elected. Isn't that what you've been saying?
Died before he goes to jail.
Oh, before he goes to jail. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way it'll be. But anyway, I don't want to wish anybody to die, but if I was going to wish anybody to die, guess who it would be? My wife's sitting here and she just said me. No, sweetie, I love you too much. All right, let's see what else we got. We want to talk any more about Project 2025, or are we good on that?
It's
Yeah, no, it's something worth talking about as we go along. We'll keep coming back to it.
The thing is that they just tearing everything apart. They want to cancel the Department of Education. They want to use taxpayer money for private and parochial schools. They want to get rid of regulations dealing with the environment and climate change. And they want to go back to the days of where the oil barons controlled everything. For crying out loud. The oil barons had a meeting with Trump, and Trump told them, hey, donate a billion with a B to my campaign, and I'll take care of you guys. He said that.
I know he did. I know he did, and he will too.
That's
You
a
can
frick. That's a
you can
freaking
count on
bribe,
that.
man. That's a bribe. That's a
You-
bribe. He should be arrested for that. And what do you think about the Republicans trying to? I saw today that somebody's trying to impeach Kamala Harris already.
Really?
Yeah, some Republican goofball.
this is all they have left.
Yeah,
They have no plan.
yeah.
Project 2025, they're going to copy paste from, but
And then
this is all they have.
Nancy Mace from South Carolina, who called on called on the cabinet to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Biden now, because she said if he's too frail to run, then he's too frail to be president, so he needs to go.
She sounds like a nasty woman to me.
Yeah. There was more about Nancy Mace too. Didn't you guys tell me that during testimony dealing with the Secret Service that she used a little bit of
Yeah,
off-color language?
she
Huh?
got a little salty when the director of the Secret Service couldn't or wouldn't answer her questions. She pretty much said, "We're here to help you. We're here to help the Secret Service provide better security for the President of the United States, and all you're giving us is shit." So that was an
Hey,
apology.
Bob, Bob, you said that's the district south of you. Are you close to one of her offices? You could stop by, drop off a cheap bar of soap, and said somebody's mouth around here needs to get washed out because she's a nasty woman.
There's an idea. I don't know where her office is, but that's a good idea.
Does she,
Oh man.
does she represent Charleston?
Yeah.
She does. That's what I
Uh-huh.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nasty Southern woman there. Does she talk to her mama like that?
I don't know. But I did an interview with the guy that's running against her for my podcast, and he's really sharp. I don't know how much of a chance he's got, but we'll see. He's an African American businessman,
What do you
and
suppose? What do you suppose Tim Scott's thinking these days?
he's not thinking that he's going to be vice president. I'll tell you that.
But
But he finally found a girlfriend. Didn't he get married for this? And that's
No,
got
I
to be
don't think he's
unnecessary,
actually
right?
got, I don't know if he actually got married yet or not. His wedding was supposed to be, was that supposed to be right before the convention? Yeah, it was. Maybe he did get married. I don't know. But
Speaking of, Melania just skipped the convention. Did we ever see her?
yeah, she showed up on the last day.
there, she
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
was.
sorry, I
she
missed
just
that.
walked in, waved to the people from the podium, but she didn't say anything, and that was that.
So it's another body double version of it. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, it could be.
The last time she gave a speech at a national convention, she got accused of plagiarism. So I guess she was a little gun shy for this one.
Maybe that's it. Both of you guys, your states have endorsed Kamala Harris, right? Your state parties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Same here in South
it,
Carolina.
the,
And I
the
think
the
every
train has
state,
completely left the station. It's no going back at this point.
yeah,
Yeah. As did our Democratic congressional delegation.
yeah,
Yeah, they're on board,
good, good.
and good for
Uh,
them.
hmm?
And good for them.
Yeah. So what do you think Harris should do regarding a vice presidential pick?
I gotta say, I got to give a plug for my man Roy Cooper. And as far as I can tell from the national mood, it sounds like most people are saying that she's got to get a white guy to be her vice presidential candidate,
Yeah.
and Roy Cooper meets that requirement.
He's a white guy. That's not a high bar.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
help me remember. Is he the second term in North Carolina or just the
Yes.
first?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a second term, and he's term limited. So this is it. So
So
the timing.
he's the second term governor
Perfect
of
match.
North Carolina. Just so anybody watching this that doesn't know who Roy Cooper is, that's
Right.
who he is. Yeah.
Right. And I think he certainly gives the ticket some balance. He a southeastern governor and a southeastern moderate governor on top of that, teaming up with a Californian, a native Californian, has got to be got to be a plus. And I think he'd be a good spokesperson. He's persistent, and he's very determined guy. He tried one of the things he had to do during his term, which he accomplished, was expand Medicaid in North Carolina, which the Republican legislature wouldn't let him do, and he finally got him to do it. And so he's adept at negotiations, and I think he'd be a good choice. So that's my plug.
Oh, I think it'd be a good choice too. I think, isn't it really the case right now that the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, and Senator Mark Kelly of Arizona kind of leading the field in most people's mind?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's true. But yeah, I think we might be better off leaving them where they are. If we take Kelly out of the Senate, that could affect whether the Senate can maintain its majority.
I think that's a very good point. The guy's a very attractive candidate because his background as an astronaut and a fighter test pilot and all of that plays very well, especially among a lot of the MAGA people. And Arizona, they need to make sure they need to pull Arizona, but they also need to pull North Carolina. And I agree with you on that. I hadn't thought about that really that much, but They take him out of the Senate, and that just makes it harder for the Democrats to maintain their margin there. But if Harris really does the job and down ballot candidates benefit from that, could be that it'll be easier to maintain margin in the Senate and also take over the House. The guy from Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, with him being of the Jewish faith, that probably would help her with those voters. However, I'm not sure that's really needed because she's probably going to do okay with them anyway, don't you think?
Yeah, because I think the administration has probably shown more support for Israel over the Gaza war situation
Right.
than they have the Palestinian side. You
Yeah.
can see that just from the demonstrations on the street. But and Shapiro he's a very pro-Israel advocate, and I don't know whether that would help her much or not. As far as I know, Roy Cooper has not expressed an opinion about the Gaza situation. I don't know how he feels about that, and I don't know about Kelly either. But boy, that's a sensitive issue. It's a sensitive issue, particularly with young people.
Yeah, it is.
Young people have got to vote in this election, and so everything she can do to bring more young people to the ballot box, the better.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I know our state chair, Anderson Clayton, who
Yeah.
is about 25 years old, has been busting her butt going around to college campuses in North Carolina. And probably most of the students that saw her thought that she was another student. When
Probably from what I've seen. I've never seen her in person, but
she looks like she's 25.
yeah, she does. Yeah, she was very young.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that is so good that there's a young woman like that who is leading the party in an important state like North Carolina. That's for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
But the Gaza situation has a very strong impact on the younger generation. I know my kids who were a little bit older than college age, but they were really down on Biden.
Yeah.
Whereas otherwise they would have been fully in support of him, but they were not happy with Biden's stance on the Gaza situation and his pro-Israel stance. And I think they're pretty reflective of how a lot of young folks feel today about that situation. And a lot
Mhm.
of it might have something to do with where they get their news from. I think if I can't help but think that if you're dependent on social media more often than not for your news, that you're probably going to get a biased point of view. And there's certainly social media certainly has been heavy with criticism of Biden about Israel, his Israel stand, and criticism of Israel, and so that might have something to do with it. But I think that's all in a jumble now as well, just because of what happened and where Harris is now. I think that Kamala has a really good opportunity to turn some of those folks around and bring them back into the tent.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Now,
And before we get away from that, I do want to call out, I wanted to get the official name. It's called the American Israel Public Affairs Committee Political Action Committee. Let me repeat, that's a mouthful, right? American Israel Public Affairs Committee Political Action Committee. If you follow the money from that PAC giving to primarily Republican candidates, I think that's your answer right there. The influx of money that has come in to sway everything in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that we didn't allow foreign interference in our politics, but yeah, there you go.
I think that's APAC, and I think that's probably, I think that's a U.S. organization. I think those are Jewish Americans that make up that organization. I don't think it's a foreign, not to say that they aren't influenced by foreign governments or even have some members who are not citizens, but I think it's registered as an American organization.
okay. You're talking about money. What'd you think about Trump saying that, gee, it was really unfair that Biden quit and turned things over to Kamala Harris because they spent all this money. The Trump people spent all this money to defeat Biden. Now that's all down the toilet. And so he wants reimbursed by the Democrats for the money that they spent running against the Democrats.
And
I thought he
Mexico,
was rich.
yeah, and Mexico will pay to build the wall.
Yeah, I thought he was rich. Well, why are we reimbursing Trump? Oh, but
Speaking of
remember when he
money,
was
speaking of that, what's that check behind you?
Oh, yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder if he also wants his money back for his campaign check when Vice President Harris was Attorney General of California.
Uh-huh.
A very interesting donation to be swaying the Attorney General's race on a nasty Western blue state.
Okay, so for people who are listening to this and not watching it, Robert has behind him on the screen a copy of a check written by Donald J. Trump to the Kamala Harris campaign for $5,000. And it's from 2011. That's what he's referring to.
Yeah, back when
It
she
all
was.
tracks back.
Yeah. So at some point, he must have thought she was the bee's knees, right?
Now,
And I'm sorry, Rhino much? They Republican in name only? Hello.
yeah,
Is that Trump, right? He was a Democrat at one point, wasn't he?
was, yeah. Well, yeah, and get great buddies with Hillary.
Yeah. And
But that does because he's old. So.
oh, he can't remember anything.
Why do you suppose Trump is contributing to the campaign of an attorney general candidate?
There's a good question, right? Why
Yeah,
would he do
something
that?
going on in California at the time.
Yeah, maybe so.
What
Maybe.
happened?
What'd you think about this judge down in Florida that threw out that case against Trump dealing with the documents?
Another nasty woman, if you ask me. But
She needs to be impeached, is what I say.
I think so. I think so.
hey,
Well,
this is the Heritage Foundation. This was their other highly successful campaign to plant their judges everywhere they need to
They
be.
did a great job
And
of
there
that.
you go.
Yeah, they did a great job of that. And they must have, I don't know. It's just sick what's going on with that. Which brings us back to Trump in prison. Do you think he'll ever, I know, Robert, you think he'll be dead before he would go to jail, but I don't know. What do you think there, Arthur? You think he'll ever go to jail?
I think he will not go to prison. He will be sentenced. He
Yeah,
will not go to prison, but he will definitely be wearing an ankle bracelet at Mar-a-Lago.
that would be really good. I'd actually come down to see that and take a picture of it if I could.
Either
I
that,
think he'll request for the ankle bracelet to be red, white, and blue, though. What do you think?
yeah, probably whoever makes ankle bracelets, their stock will go up immediately.
Put a big Trump sign on the ankle bracelet.
Yeah, that's right. I thought they should exile him to Elba, but my wife said that wasn't a good idea because Elba's a nice place.
America's such a horrible place. I still don't know why he stays here.
Hey, you know what? There's a thing called the Bobblehead Museum. Did you know about the Bobblehead Museum? Yeah, there's actually a Bobblehead Museum. And the guy that runs the Bobblehead Museum, I've been swearing I'm going to bring him on my podcast, but I don't know if I will now because I just got a press release from them saying that they've created two bobbleheads of Trump, one showing his ear patch from where he was nicked by whatever it was that nicked him, whether it was a piece of glass or maybe, I can't believe it was a bullet from an AR-15. I think it would have done a lot more damage than just nicking his ear, but whatever. So one with an ear patch and then the other one with his fist in the air going fight, fight. Now, do you think that picture was staged? And also, would you guys want one of those bobbleheads? I could probably get them for you.
I don't want anything of Trump in my house. What kind of juju is that? He said it was a Trump.
I know. I wouldn't either.
The last time a friend of mine brought some pig's feet to the house from Alabama
Pig's feet.
and left them in the house, shit started falling off the walls. I said, you got to get that stuff out of here. Imagine bringing a Trump something into this house. No, I'm good.
Same here. Same here. That's what I was going to have this guy on my show because I thought it would be funny. But man, if he's that money hungry, much of a grubber that he's doing bobbleheads of Trump doing those things that I think Trump did just to generate sympathy, screw him. I'm not having him on my show. I got better people than that.
So is that museum in Myrtle Beach?
No, I don't even know where it is, but it's not in Myrtle Beach.
That would be a great thing to have in Myrtle Beach. It'd fit right in.
It would fit right in. It really would.
Does it come with the corresponding one for the shooter with the AR-15?
I don't think that he's done that one, but I could send him an email and ask him to do that.
Yeah,
I could.
That would be.
He keeps hounding me to be on my podcast. I had him scheduled at one point, and then I canceled it because had some second thoughts about it. Not sure why I would have somebody like that on.
Maybe it would be better to set them back until next year. Next year would be a good time to have them.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe. And
Uh,
and I asked him, I said, you do baseball bobbleheads? Because I have a few bobbleheads from the Orioles. And he said, no, he didn't do baseball bobbleheads. I don't know. Why would you have a bobblehead museum if you don't do baseball bobbleheads, which are most of the bobbleheads that I've ever heard of are.
I got a company that'll do a bobblehead of you, of anybody.
Oh,
You can,
really?
yeah, you can get your own bobblehead.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Yeah, I had
mind
a former
having.
manager that had one of his created. Like, I think he sent around to influential people in the company a copy of his own bobblehead, which I thought was a good strategy.
It
That's,
was. It's a good idea. It'd make a great Christmas present too.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
for sure.
I want my own Robert Gatty bobblehead.
If I do it, I'm going to do it with this shirt, my Hijack Nation shirt.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Absolutely. And I want a Robert Thompson bobble. I already have a whole series of Robert Thompson duckies.
Yeah, I got
Oh, that's right.
Robert
Yeah, he
Thompson
pulled those out
duckies
again. Yeah.
too. Hey,
Yeah.
oh man. All right.
Is this live?
What? You have something else you want to talk about?
No. I'm just saying we had a good time with this one.
We had all this really important stuff to talk about, some of which is tragic, some of which is positive, and some of which is funny,
And all of which is historic.
all of which is historic. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
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 So I'm going to tell you guys something I said to my wife last night in bed. This was in bed. I said to her, I wonder why it is that people think butts, rear ends, are sexy when their only function is to poop. And I said, wonder why that is. And she said, I don't give a shit.
I think that's the name of this episode. Just,
All right. With that, in that vein, I had one other thing I wanted to talk about. And this is really serious. In South Carolina, there's a new study by the sex wellness platform. It's called Bed Bible. It shows that South Carolinians are having trouble practicing safe sex. They come in fourth with searches for safe sex measures, which is 20% below the national average. But North Carolina is almost as bad, with above average rates of chlamydia and syphilis.
Oh, geez. Really?
Now, the story that I saw that somebody sent me this, I get all this really good stuff because I do this podcast. Anyway, Georgia wasn't even listed. You guys must be doing a good job down in Georgia on.
no, it was just that they put a campaign ahead of it, that we had a rash of that. You know else who had a rash of this is the villages in Florida.
Oh yeah.
There was quite a bit of this going through there. But the villages is a huge retirement community north of Orlando, and they had a lot of similar issues. But no, the campaign works, and or either people are just not reporting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Well, some people might wonder why I brought that up, but it fits right in with what the Republicans are trying to do because they're saying we need to control this whole nasty stuff called contraception. And so they want to regulate your condoms. And they is that what they want to do? I don't know. Do they? And the pills that women take, they want to regulate them. Who knows? I don't want to spread any rumors, but
isn't a long-term effect of syphilis as you really start going crazy too?
yeah, I think that's true.
I'm just putting that out there.
So you're just putting that out there, huh?
Yeah.
And you're thinking that there might be somebody within the GOP that perhaps has a problem with that, perhaps somebody with orange hair.
A lot of people in the GOP. More than one.
Specifically, I would say the person with orange hair probably has the.
Yeah.
We don't want to get in trouble, though. I don't want to get sued by saying that. Folks, we're just joking around here. We're not being serious.
This is entertainment. It's not news.
This is entertainment. That's right. Don't ever mistake what we do in the Dixie Dems as news. There's a kernel of truth, a kernel of news in what we do, but most of it is just fun.
Because
So anyway,
Fox had to
that's all I
claim
had
that,
on my,
so that
huh?
they got to have a lawsuit.
What?
Fox News had to claim when they were getting sued by the voter equipment companies.
Oh yeah,
That was their defense in court, that they're entertainment, they're not news.
Oh, really?
Fox News.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Oh,
but Fox and then news. That seems to say what it is, doesn't it?
incompatible.
Yeah,
Incompatible.
for sure. But they claim in their title, in their name, they claim to be a news channel. So how could they argue in court that that was just not serious, that it wasn't intended to be news? I don't
Well, it didn't
understand.
work. They lost.
Yeah, yeah. So
It
there you
was
go.
self-defense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So guys, I've run out of stuff. Do you have anything on your end that you want to talk about?
Nope. Did everything on my
A couple of
agenda.
things from Georgia. I'll go through them real quick. Atlanta. So we are now a top 10 city. We moved up in the list. I think the ranking had something to do with NFL franchise cities, and we moved up as a larger city, and we're pretty full. But also glaringly is our embarrassing transportation infrastructure. The governor here has put out his big plan for transportation, and none of it has anything to do with rapid rail transit in
Mhm.
Atlanta and Metro Atlanta. And what they are doing is what Texas has done. They have these weird semi-private investors that come in and say, we're going to build a toll road over here to alleviate traffic, and you got to pay money to get in these toll roads. That's the answer.
Mhm.
And it's not sustainable. Everybody bitches about coming to Atlanta and sitting in traffic. Guess what? The leadership and power in Georgia is doing nothing to change
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
just putting that out there.
All right.
Also, this was the first summer of Georgia Power's electricity rate hikes that were approved by the Public Service Commission, because basically they're in bed with Georgia Power.
Uh-huh.
And people are realizing, oh my God, we have reason too much energy in the house. Part of that is we had to go with another nuclear reactor or two over in Augusta, which is online now, thankfully, finally, and producing clean energy. There was a cost to that. And also the continued coal ash. So we still have these coal plants around, and the byproduct is coal ash, which I have a friend in Memphis right now that is cleaning up one of those sites. That's another cost that people don't want to talk about.
Right.
And what Georgia is letting Georgia Power do is this coal ash. Any of you two, I don't think you keep a pile of coal ash in your backyard for any particular reason, because it's pretty nasty stuff and it's polluting
Mhm.
the groundwater. But the powers that be. But yeah, just keep a lookout on that kind of stuff, because meanwhile, all this other stuff that we talked about to date, but these things are going to come to a head one day.
Here in South Carolina, we're we're bracing ourselves for electricity rate hikes as well. Santee Cooper, which is the company that provides the power for this area where I live in Myrtle Beach, they're having public hearings and they're planning on increasing their rates significantly. They claim they haven't had a rate increase for the past, I think, 7 years. And not long ago, I think 3 months ago or 4 months ago, I had solar put on my roof. And the solar company told me, you're going to help yourself because by doing this, because the Santee Cooper rates are going to go up and you're going to be able to avoid the impact of the total rate increase. I still have to pay for some power because my solar doesn't generate 100% of what I use, mainly because I bought an electric car and that uses power because I charge it here at home. But anyhow,
Speaking of, let's compare across the border here in Georgia. If I'm not mistaken, Georgia Power actually petitioned successfully to cut down on the solar that is being installed in Georgia. That's
yeah,
very interesting to me.
yeah, they're trying to do the same thing here in South Carolina, and all this talk from the Trump side about getting rid of benefits for renewable energy. That's just a crime, in my opinion. It really is. And I know that in my own case, I would not have been able to afford either the solar for my house or the electric vehicle without the Biden benefits for both, because I got money back from the government for doing both things and couldn't have done it otherwise.
Just like your favorite corporation does. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for being with us again on Lean to the Left's Dixie Dems. And I know that Robert and Arthur appreciate you guys watching and listening. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. And come back and listen to and check out all of our episodes on the Lean to the Left podcast. I really would appreciate it. And if you get a chance, you might give us an upvote or or send us a nice comment or something like that. That might help us. Certainly helps with Google's ranking. And I'm fighting with Google right now to try to get a better ranking for my stuff. So anyway, I thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Hey, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Lean to the Left video and you found it interesting and informative. Please visit on a regular basis and check out our interviews with guests on topics that focus on progressive politics and the important social issues of our time. Now, our interview shows stream on Mondays with special episodes on Thursdays. And you can check out upcoming shows, guests, and topics at podcast.leantotheleft.net. Subscribe to our audio version there and to our video shows here at YouTube. And follow us on social media. Facebook at Bob Gatty and the Lean to the Left podcast. Now, it's two. Bob Gatty is one Facebook page, and the Lean to the Left podcast is a second Facebook page. Twitter at Lean to the Left 1. Instagram at Lean to the Left 1. TikTok at Lean to the Left. LinkedIn at Bob Gatty. And YouTube at Lean to the Left. Now, I hope you'll support Lean to the Left as well so we can keep things going. Just click on the Donate tab at the top of the leantotheleft.net homepage and contribute by buying me a cup of coffee. That'll really help and would be much, much, much appreciated. Now, this is Bob Gatty signing off for Lean to the Left. Thanks for sharing your time with us.